Greetings, this is Lady Loves of the Alliance Toothless in the game of Illyriad. Today we're going to talk about sovereignty, what it is, and what it costs. First off, let's talk about what it is. It is a way to increase production in your city. It is also another way to specialize your city. Now you're asking, what ways does it increase production? With SOV, you can decrease the amount of time it takes to produce troops, diplomats, and Tier 1 advanced resources such as horses, cattle, beer, books, any of your swords and spears, your bows, your saddles, all your armor, and siege blocks. It can also increase the amount of basic resources. Most players use the SOV for food production, which assists in population building. Others use it for any resource efficiency. Uh, this is your sovereignty research screen, and you can see there's 5 levels, and then you can get to estate management, which allows you to have a chasserie of estates, which decreases the cost of level 1 SOV for your city. The cost of SOV is, if it's just 1 square away, it is 1 gold per hour per square per level of SOV. It is 10 research points per hour per square per level of SOV. With a chasserie of estates, that is actually decreased. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I have one that hasn't been chosen yet. This is 1.41 squares away from my City of Wisdom. The base research cost is 10 for level 1, and the distance is 1.41. So the total of research per hour is going to cost me, it's costing me 14 research points per hour. The cost of gold is base gold 100 at level 1, distance 1.41. Total gold per hour is 141 gold per hour. This tells you the details of the square that it's going to be sitting on, what you would get for lumber, clay, iron, stone, and food, what it would cost per hour for upkeep. Now, since there's nothing there, it says no structure present, so therefore there's no upkeep. It's just the gold and the research points per hour. This tells me what it would be a bonus for. It would add +1% for leather armor production per hour per level of renderer. So if I chose to do the leather armor production, it's a basic of 5% production speed per hour per level of all other production structures. So you have 5% plus the 1%, which makes it 6%. There's no structure present, so you don't have you don't know what your hourly upkeep is just yet. As you can see, these are all the basic resources, and this is what it costs to build it, and this is its hourly upkeep. These are the only ones that have free hourly upkeep for resources. This is the time it takes to build it. As for these, as you can see, you have an hourly upkeep for your cattle rancher, your bladesmith, your renderer. Your cattle rancher is obviously for cattle. decreases the time it takes to produce cows. Your bladesmith is going to decrease the time it takes to produce swords. Your renderer is it decreases the time it takes to make leather armor. Your farrier is for the time it takes to make horses. Your bowyer is for the time it takes to build a bow. Pole turner is for your spears. Your bridle maker is your saddles. It decreases the time to make those. Plate forger for your plate armor. Your armor is for your chainmail. Paper mill is for books. It decreases the time it takes to make books. Brewer's yard is for beer. Training ground is for training spears, so this is a good one that orcs would use a lot. Target range is for your archers, and that would be one that elves would use a lot. Military academy is for your swords, your infantry. That one is going to be used by dwarves. Your jousting yard, that is for cavalry, so humans would use that one a lot. Assembly yard is for making siege engines. It cuts down the time for that. Finishing school is for your diplomats. Once you figure out what you'd like to choose and how much you can afford to spend, because this is not cheap, I'm going to go ahead and go for leather armorer since there's a bonus for that. And these are all, you can always go in and change it. So I'm going to go find a renderer. It's going to be 50 of each resource to build, and it's going to be 150 hourly upkeep per resource, and it's going to take 600 seconds to build. So I chose that. I'm going to say build structure, and we have it started. I hope this explains sovereignty a little better so you understand the costs and the repercussions, because if you have a smaller city, it's going to be harder for you to sustain the levels that are required for sovereignty. So be careful and remember the costs are higher, so you might want to have an established city before you start, because it's not a beginner option, because it would detract from your growth. You have a wonderful day.